The night he met her, he was cleaning the floor beneath her heels. Daniel Ruiz had learned long ago how to make himself invisible. You had to, when you were a poor single father scrubbing marble floors at 2 in the morning while the city's elite toasted champagne above you. You kept your head down. You moved quietly. You finished your shift and went home to the only person who saw you as more than a uniform, his 8-year-old daughter, Sophia. That night was supposed to be like any other. He had kissed Sophia's forehead before leaving their tiny apartment, promised to bring home her favorite strawberry yogurt, and told her to lock the door behind him. He always worried. About money. About rent. About the cough she'd had for weeks that he couldn't afford to get fully checked. About whether he was enough. The company tower glittered against the dark sky, hosting an exclusive celebration on the top floor. Daniel had been assigned to post-event cleanup. He pushed his cart through empty hallways, listening to distant laughter echo down polished corridors. That's when he heard a crash. He hurried toward the sound and found her, Elena Laurent, though he didn't know her name yet, sitting on the marble floor in a designer gown, a broken champagne flute beside her. Her mascara had smudged slightly, not from drunkenness alone, but from tears she clearly hadn't expected anyone to see. I'm fine, she muttered, trying to stand and failing spectacularly. Daniel hesitated. Employees weren't supposed to interact with executives beyond polite nods. But something about her vulnerability, the way her shoulders trembled, cut through his fear. Careful, he said gently, offering a hand. The floor's slippery. She looked up at him, surprised. Most people didn't speak to her like that. They either barked instructions or flattered her. No one warned her about slippery floors. You're the cleaner, she slurred lightly, then laughed at her own bluntness. And I'm the mess. He smiled despite himself. Happens to the best of us. He helped her to her feet. She swayed, then leaned against the wall, studying him with curious, glassy eyes. You weren't at the party, she said. No, ma'am. Good. It was awful. Something in her voice cracked. The loneliness in it was deeper than the alcohol. Against his better judgment, he asked, Do you need someone to call you a car? She shook her head. I need 5 minutes where nobody wants something from me. He didn't fully understand her world, but he understood that feeling. They sat on the floor together, backs against the cool wall. She talked. At first about the company, how everyone expected her to be ruthless, sharp, untouchable. How her father had built the empire and died suddenly, leaving her to prove she deserved it. How every board member questioned her. How every relationship she'd ever had seemed to revolve around her title. And you, she asked eventually. What keeps you up at night, cleaner? My daughter, he replied without hesitation. He told her about Sophia. About bedtime stories and unpaid bills. About working 2 jobs and still falling short. Elena listened. Really listened. For the first time in years, she wasn't the CEO. She was just a woman sitting beside a man who saw her tears before he saw her status. What happened after that wasn't reckless passion or dramatic seduction. It was 2 lonely people clinging to warmth in a moment where the world felt unbearably heavy. They ended up in a quiet guest suite upstairs. Their connection wasn't about lust, it was about feeling seen. For one night, titles disappeared. Expectations faded. In the morning, reality returned like a cold wind. Elena woke first. The sunlight slicing through the curtains felt accusatory. She sat up slowly, memory flooding back. The cleaner. Daniel. He stirred beside her, panic flickering across his face as he realized where he was. I'm sorry, he said immediately, standing and searching for his shirt. I shouldn't have, she surprised him by laughing softly. You didn't force me. He expected anger. A threat. A security escort. Instead, she looked thoughtful. They parted awkwardly. She left first. He stayed behind, heart pounding with dread. By noon, he was certain he would be fired, but no call came that day. Or the next. Life returned to normal, at least on the surface. Daniel buried himself in work. He tried to convince himself it had been a strange, one-time crossing of worlds that would never intersect again until 3 weeks later. He was summoned to the executive floor. His hands trembled as he stepped into a sleek office larger than his entire apartment. Elena stood by the window, composed in a sharp navy suit, the image of power. Close the door, Daniel, she said quietly. Hearing his name on her lips felt surreal. I remember everything, she began. And I don't regret it. He didn't know what to say, but I can't have secrets in my company, she continued. And I won't allow you to feel threatened or vulnerable because of that night. He swallowed. I would never use it against you. I know. That was the problem. She trusted him. Then she said something that shifted everything. I looked into your employee file. His stomach dropped. Your daughter's medical bills are overdue. Shame burned his face. I'll handle it. I know you will, she said softly. But you shouldn't have to alone. He stiffened. I don't want charity. It's not charity. She stepped closer. It's investment. In the weeks that followed, Elena made quiet changes. Employee healthcare policies improved. Wages were restructured. A childcare program was introduced. Officially, it was a strategic move to boost morale and retention. Unofficially, it was because she had seen how hard one man worked and realized how many others were drowning silently. Daniel resisted her help at first. Pride had been his armor for years. But when Sophia's cough worsened and he had to rush her to the hospital, it was Elena who pulled strings to ensure she received the best care. Sophia recovered, and something in Daniel shifted. He saw that Elena's power wasn't just privilege, it was pressure. Every decision scrutinized. Every mistake magnified. She wasn't the untouchable queen he'd imagined. She was a woman trying to carry a legacy that felt too heavy for one person. Their relationship evolved slowly. No secret rendezvous. No scandal. They met in public cafes. Talked about strategy and parenting. Laughed about their wildly different childhoods, but challenges loomed. When rumors surfaced about the CEO's interest in a lower-level employee, the board reacted swiftly. Questions about professionalism. About reputation. About optics. Daniel offered to resign. I won't be the reason your empire crumbles, he told her. Elena's jaw tightened. You are not a liability. I'm realistic. For the first time, she broke. I am so tired of choosing between what's right for the company and what's right for me. That was the true battle, not wealth versus poverty, but fear versus courage. In a bold move, Elena addressed the board directly. She revealed her relationship openly. Not defensively. Not apologetically. She reframed the narrative: transparency, equality, and the belief that leadership should not exist in isolation from humanity. Some investors withdrew, stock prices dipped, the media buzzed. Daniel felt guilty watching her endure it, but something unexpected happened. Employees rallied behind her. They had felt the changes she implemented. They saw a leader who understood their struggles. Productivity rose. Loyalty deepened. The company stabilized, not because she had fallen for a cleaner, but because she had finally remembered what it meant to care. Months later, Daniel stood in the same lobby where he had once pushed a mop, now attending a company family event. Sophia ran across the marble floor, laughing freely, her health restored. Elena joined him, slipping her hand into his. You ever miss being invisible? She teased. He looked around at the life he never imagined possible. No, he said. But I'm grateful I was. Otherwise, I might never have seen you. She smiled, not the polished smile for shareholders, but the soft one she reserved for him. Their story wasn't about a fairy tale rescue. Elena didn't save Daniel. Daniel didn't complete Elena. They challenged each other. Forced growth. Exposed blind spots. He taught her that leadership without compassion is hollow. She taught him that accepting help isn't weakness. And Sophia, bright, resilient Sophia, became the bridge between two worlds that once seemed impossible to connect. Years later, when people asked how they met, they never mentioned the broken champagne glass or the guest suite upstairs. They said, on a slippery floor, at the right time. Because sometimes life changes not in boardrooms or headlines, but in quiet moments when two lonely souls sit on cold marble and choose honesty over pride. The powerful lesson their journey left behind was simple but profound. No one is too small to change someone powerful. No one is too powerful to need someone small. And love, when rooted in respect and courage, can turn even the most unlikely beginning into a legacy of compassion.